All right, you guys, so behind me is the Winterize system kit I built for marine mechanics. This is a very simple system, a couple $100. It mounts in the bed of my truck, and I can tow this around town as a mobile mechanic and winterize boats. So let me show you what I built. The items we got here, got this tank off Amazon, 40-gallon storage tank that will be full of potable antifreeze, but for test purposes, I got it full of water, making sure we don't have any leaks. Running through that is the 5/8 hose that goes to a 12-volt on-off pump that I've put on a key fob switch that I can control remotely. Running to that is a 100-foot of 5/8 hose, garden hose on a Gorilla spool-up reel that I got from Home Depot. On the end of the garden hose, I've put a flow meter so I can calculate gallons per minute of how much I'm using to bill the customer. So I'll take you over here real quick to... So the garden hose pump, 12 volt, runs over to my fob actuator that runs down to a deep cycle battery that's mounted down to the bed and strapped in. That's all you've got. It's literally a few items, and then you have basically potable antifreeze on demand with a key fob that looks like this. So I'll show you how it works. So say we're running out a boat, I'm gonna just pay out a little bit of hose here. And we'll walk it out. There's your garden hose there, right? Truck's back over here. I've got my key fob. Just for demonstration, I'll show you from a little bit of ways away. There's the truck. Turn the hose on. Now I'll have potable antifreeze coming out, and I'll also be able to gauge how much is flowing, right? So we're already at half a gallon, just about a full gallon coming up. This will be able to provide enough to at least flush an engine, a small engine on potable antifreeze, as well as you can drag this hose around. You'll be able to take that garden hose with you and go up into a big formula or something and go down into the freshwater tank, pump some antifreeze into it, or you can do a combination of fittings on the end of that garden hose and run it to a hot water heater, into a fresh water system. However you want to do it, there's kind of, the opportunities are endless, honestly. And the exhaust fluid that's coming out, the potable antifreeze coming out of the exhaust, we can test with a refractometer and actually get the concentration of the breaking point or the burst point of that potable antifreeze that comes out. So in my region, I'd love to see any negative, right? -10, -20, that would be good for me. And then you can annotate that in the customer's invoice. And when it's all said and done, the luxury of kind of a system like this is the cleanup. I'll let that sit there and hang dry. Let all the potable antifreeze quit dripping out so it doesn't get all over the bed of my truck, and then I'll put an on-off valve on the end of the garden hose and pinch it so we don't have any siphoning issues with the tank trying to siphon out of the hose, and we don't have any spills or messes in the bed of the work truck. But that's it. It'll work something like that. Push your slide back in. And then it'll be on to the next boat.